Are Manchester United actually as bad as people think?
And yesterday it happened again. He changes his back three and his back five every single game, and the performances and the results are just unacceptable. So I'm really, really worried.
It's the question everyone's asking fans.
Is Amorim still the right man for the job?
No.
You want to see him gone?
Yeah. Quicker the better.
No, definitely not now. I think that's enough.
Pundits and critics.
Everything about what happens to Manchester United, everything, is utterly appalling. And he needs to be sacked. I've said it before, it's horrible to come on national radio and say he needs to be sacked. I can't feel sorry for these people because they're taking £8 million home, right? Yeah. But the job is clearly too big for him.
We've already decided that Ruben Amorim's Manchester United project is a failure. The results at first glance seem damning. Since taking charge, Amorim has managed 34 Premier League games, winning just 10, drawing 7 and losing 17. That's a win rate of 25.8%, a number that, on paper, screams disaster for a club of United's size and history.
What is going on at Man United? This is not Man United. I don't recognise the whole football club. I don't see players fighting, I don't see character, I don't see desire to win, I don't see ability, I don't see match winners. I go into a game watching, expecting, okay, here we go again.
Their goal difference of -11 only strengthens the argument that things have gone terribly wrong at both ends of the pitch. In any other era, these numbers would have buried a manager, and for many in the media they already have. Critics say Amorim was never cut out for Old Trafford. Legends call him naive. The press claims his system doesn't work. But here's the thing, the numbers don't tell the full story. Because if you actually dig deeper, if you look beyond the surface of the results, something fascinating begins to emerge. So let's ask again, are Manchester United actually as bad as people think? Ruben Amorim has an answer, and it's built on the one thing that never lies, data. And the truth is, the data reveals a project that's not collapsing, but quietly evolving. Because despite the chaos, this Manchester United has been built the right way this season. The pieces are finally starting to fit, and each one is solving a problem that's haunted this club for years.
Yeah, no, it's a collective, and I think firstly, a real positive on at the weekend. I think a good result, a big high-pressure game, probably for the manager, for the players, for the club. And I thought he played really well and was efficient and kept it simple, and it was a really good victory. So, and yeah, listen,
Benjamin Šeško, the striker United had been missing since prime Robin van Persie, is redefining their attacking structure. Matheus Cunha, with his movement and creativity, has given life to United's transitions. Bryan Mbeumo has added width, work rate and pressing intelligence that this team has lacked for seasons.
He's going to try and get across the way to Mbeumo! Manchester United retake the lead!
And behind them, the young Belgian keeper Senne Lammens is slowly becoming the quiet foundation of Amorim's rebuild. So no, Manchester United are not as bad as the table suggests. They're something else entirely, a work in progress. That's far scarier than people realise. The data is eye-opening, and it completely changes the narrative around Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. On paper they look mid-table. In reality, they're performing like a top 4 side. According to Opta, Manchester United lead the Premier League in expected goals with 11.8, more than any other team. They're also the side with the most shot-creating actions, 169.8 more than Arne Slot's Liverpool. Statistically, they're generating more chances than anyone in England. And if football were a game purely of probability, United should be sitting 4th, not 10th, in the league table. So yes, the results have been poor, but numbers never lie. Behind the frustration, Amorim has quietly built a team that's creating, pressing, and evolving in all the right ways. The problem? They're not finishing. Everyone says Amorim's system is too rigid, too continental for English football, but that theory collapses when you see the metrics. How can a team be called rigid when it leads the league in chance creation? The truth is simpler and much more revealing. United in creation stage are doing everything right until the final touch. They have the lowest shot conversion rate in the entire Premier League, just 4%. That's the real disease. And it's not new. This issue has haunted United since last season, which is exactly why the club spent £232 million on Benjamin Šeško, Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha, 3 players specifically brought in to solve that finishing problem. Let's start with Benjamin Šeško, the Slovenian striker who's quickly proving he's the missing piece. At just 22, Šeško already has the profile of a modern number 9, a blend of size, technique and explosive pace. Standing 6 feet 3 inches, he's powerful yet elegant, capable of both holding up play and running in behind. Last season he broke the 20-goal mark, and his speed clocked at 34.9 kilometers per hour makes him lethal in transition. But it's not just about goals. Šeško's link-up play, one-touch layoffs and movement off the ball have transformed the way United attack. He doesn't need 5 touches to finish. He sets his body, strikes, and makes defenders panic. His composure inside the box is something United haven't seen in years, and slowly it's paying off. He's now scored in back-to-back games, showing signs of confidence and rhythm. Even Wayne Rooney recently said, "I think he's a handful." He uses his body well, challenges for balls. It makes it easier for Brian Mbeumo, Cunha, or Mount to make runs in behind him. Clearly that's something they've worked on. Getting another goal will help him. It was massive for all the players and for the manager. Šeško is evolving into the striker United have been searching for, but he's not alone, because just beside him there's another name quietly becoming the heartbeat of this new United attack: Brian Mbeumo, a player who looks like he was born to wear the Manchester United shirt. The finishing problem at Manchester United will improve, that much is certain, but it's the Šeško-Mbeumo connection that has the potential to explode. Before we get into that chemistry, let's take a closer look at Brian Mbeumo, one of the most efficient attackers in the Premier League. His numbers tell the full story. The 25-year-old Cameroon international recorded 27 combined goals and assists in the 2024/25 season, the third highest in the league, behind only Mohamed Salah and Alexander Isak. That level of output is exactly what Manchester United were missing. This is why Amorim made him a priority signing.
He brings goals. So the stats, and I don't drive everything on stats, the eye test has to work and match up as well, and the eye test does. But the stats are super impressive, guys, I'm telling you. 41 appearances, 20 goals, that's 1 goal every 2 games, right? And 8 assists, that's 28 goal involvements in 41 games. This guy is performing at a high level.
United scored only 44 Premier League goals last season, their lowest ever in the Premier League era, and they underperformed their expected goals by 9.5, the second worst margin in the league.
As the outball, what a pass! It's in towards Mbeumo. It is 4!
The message was clear. The team didn't need more chances. It needed finishers who could turn half chances into goals. And that's exactly what Mbeumo does. He scored 15 non-penalty goals last season from an expected goals of 7.5, outperforming his expected return by a staggering plus 7.5, the best differential in the league. That's not luck. That's elite level efficiency. Mbeumo scores the kind of goals others miss, but his value doesn't stop there. Mbeumo's also a creator. Over 4 Premier League seasons with Brentford, he delivered 28 assists, averaging 7 per campaign. And even that number is misleadingly low because most of his missed assists came from teammates who couldn't finish his passes. Surrounded by more clinical finishers like Cunha and Šeško, those numbers are about to explode. The underlying stats back it up. First in expected assists in 2024/25 with 9.3, fourth in big chances created with 17, 9th in successful open play crosses with 23, and 10th in open play passes into the box 59. For context, only Cole Palmer and Trent Alexander-Arnold produce more. Mbeumo isn't just elite in creativity and finishing, he's tailor-made for Amorim's system. While he can play as a forward, he thrives as a right-sided inside winger, drifting into the half spaces that Amorim's narrow 3-4-2-1 demands. He's urgent, vertical and fearless, the type of player who runs at defenders instead of waiting for gaps to open. Last season, he ranked second in the league for touches in the attacking third with 998, and second for progressive passes received with 351, behind only Salah. That risk-taking mentality, visible in his 106 miscontrols, second only to Salah, isn't sloppiness, it's ambition. Mbeumo constantly tests defenders, forcing errors and openings through sheer pressure. And that right there is what's made Mbeumo so vital for Manchester United. He's been the most consistent player in Amorim's squad. The goals and assists may not fully reflect it, yet 2 goals and 1 assist so far, but his impact is growing game by game. What makes him so dangerous is his combination of attributes: explosive acceleration to break pressing lines, body balance that allows him to take contact and keep control, 2-footed finishing, precise and powerful, spatial intelligence, always positioning himself between full-back and centre-back, high work rate, pressing and tracking back to support transitions. And when you combine that vertical chaos with Benjamin Šeško's profile, the result is lethal. Šeško, the powerful right-footed striker, adds the final touch Mbeumo's creativity deserves. He's clinical inside the box, but more than that, he's adaptable. He can absorb poor passes, react to deflections, and still generate shots from unbalanced positions. His lower body strength gives his strikes terrifying power, even when it looks like he's barely swinging through. In counterattacks, the pair are devastating. Mbeumo's bursts into space stretch defenders, while Šeško's timing and anticipation make him the perfect finisher for those transitions. Together, they've started to heal Manchester United's most persistent wound, chance conversion. For this, we need to look at Amorim's problem with United in depth and appreciate how these two are transforming United. This duo finally found their winning formula. Looking at the shot map for Manchester United's 2025/26 Premier League season, it's clear what their main attacking problem really is: the quality of their chances, not the quantity. United average 15.3 shots game, which puts them among the most active attacking sides in England. But their expected goals per shot, basically, the probability that each effort ends in a goal, sits at just 0.11, one of the lowest in the league. That tells us most of their shots are coming from difficult positions where goals are rare. The map shows that only 16% of their attempts come from the golden central zone inside the box, while 25% of their shots are taken from outside the area. In the Premier League, goals from that distance are statistically uncommon, so this explains perfectly why United are creating loads, but finishing so little. There's another key detail. Their wide players are taking too many efforts from tight angles 5% to 12%, meaning their attacks often end before they find a clean position to shoot. The team can progress up the pitch well, but they struggle to break the last defensive line with clarity. You can see this problem in specific matches. Against Brentford, for instance, Matheus Cunha had multiple passing options in the 36th minute. Šeško made a brilliant run, and Mbeumo found space behind the defence, yet Cunha went for a long shot. He's good at those, but it showed the team's lack of collective awareness in the final third. It's the same story with Bruno Fernandes versus Chelsea. In the 82nd minute, he sprinted the length of the pitch, but when he looked up, no one was keeping pace. He took on the shot alone, but the chance died because his teammates didn't support the move in time. So yes, United are doing plenty. Right, they press, they create, they move with intent, but what they lack is that final layer of composure and teamwork. They don't need to take more shots, they need to take better ones. Amorim's system works, it's producing volume, but until his players make the right choices inside the box, that extra pass, that extra second of calm, the results won't fully reflect their improvement. Because right now, United shoot a lot, just not from where Premier League goals are usually scored. What's happening with Manchester United this season goes far beyond just missing chances, it's a structural problem. The fact that United are shooting from everywhere on the pitch is just a symptom of the real issue. Their expected goal looks high because they create a lot of chances, but very few of those are truly good ones.
I've got a big smile on my face, ladies and gents, and I'm sure you have too, after watching United beat Sunderland pretty comfortably. A good, I would say a top team performance.
And that happens for a simple reason. In Amorim's system, the midfield almost doesn't exist. His philosophy relies on high-speed transitions, demanding that his wing-backs constantly push up and drop back, depending on how the play develops. The problem? They're doing all that running only to rarely receive the ball, as we saw earlier, because the attacks often end in long-range shots before the move is properly built. That lack of coordination means the team keeps losing its shape. Instead of the 3-4-3 Amorim dreams of, United end up splitting into a 5-2-3, with huge gaps between lines. The wing-backs stay deep to avoid being caught out on counters, while the midfield, usually Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, gets isolated. Up front, Mbeumo, Šeško and Cunha often find themselves stranded, disconnected from the rest of the team. That's why so many shots come from awkward positions. Players shoot out of frustration or desperation, not from tactical design. The result is clear in the data. United are currently the worst team in the Premier League in expected goal underperformance, sitting at -5.4 expected goal, meaning they've scored over 5 goals fewer than expected. It's a hard truth. Amorim's United create volume, but not cohesion. The attacks don't flow, the midfield is stretched, and the team plays in fragments, defenders too deep, attackers too far forward.
The stick that just gets used to beat Amorim is the system, the system, the system. Is it the system? What do you, when you outside looking in, what's going on at Manchester United?
I think it's a combination. I think, yes, it is the system because you're putting that out, you know? So when you're putting a system in you have to have the players that can deliver that way of playing.
You can see it perfectly in the match against Fulham. After a brilliant recovery high up the pitch, Matheus Cunha had both Mount and Mbeumo wide open for an easy combination, but he went for goal himself. The right wing-back, missing from the frame, pinned deep in defence. It's the same story over and over again. The lack of connection between midfield and attack has been United's biggest flaw until the Sunderland match, when everything suddenly looked different. Amorim made a few small tactical adjustments, but they changed everything. Against Sunderland, Manchester United finally looked like an elite team, again fast, compact and dangerous. Ruben Amorim's side produced one of their most convincing performances of the season, and it all came down to three key factors. First, the excellent link-up play on the wings. On the right side, Amad Diallo and Bryan Mbeumo were electric, while on the left, Diogo Dalot and Mason Mount offered balance and depth. The team moved as one unit for the first time in weeks. The attacking lines connected, and the difference in the quality of their chances was massive. Second, Benjamin Šeško's intelligent movement stretched Sunderland's backline. His constant pulling of defenders forward opened up space for teammates like Mount to attack the box with freedom. And third, Senne Lammens' calm presence in goal finally gave the defence the security to focus on their duties without fear of costly mistakes. Those three factors changed everything. Look closely, the difference was visible from the opening minutes. In the 7th minute, Diallo found Mbeumo on the right. Instead of staying wide, Mbeumo cut inside to stretch Sunderland's defence. Šeško made a clever run that dragged both centre-backs, leaving Mount completely free to receive, control and fire home a beautiful goal. This was Amorim learning from his previous mistakes, reducing the distance between players and making Mount act as a creative interior rather than a static forward. And it worked. As many have said, Mount is far too talented for a limited role, and his presence near the midfield made United's attack fluid again. By the 20th minute, United's collective play was at full throttle. Bruno Fernandes, now positioned closer to Šeško, linked up through the centre. The Slovenian strength allowed him to hold the ball and feed Diallo, who immediately burst forward. In that moment, 5 United players, Dalot, Mount, Mbeumo, Diallo and Šeško, attacked the box together. The difference between a hopeful attack and a real goal-scoring move was crystal clear. Just a minute later, the same pattern repeated. Amad found Mbeumo again. The two combined brilliantly down the right, and the Cameroonian unleashed another dangerous shot. Then in the 24th minute, Amad had 5 passing options again. He chose Mbeumo, and the number 19 cross reached Dalot at the far post. The Portuguese full-back slightly miscontrolled, but his recovery led to another clever combination. Dalot to Mount, Mount to Bruno, and Bruno forcing Sunderland's keeper into a world-class save. Finally, at the 30th minute, Šeško scored his confidence-boosting goal from a long throw, a set-piece weapon Amorim has now turned into a serious tactical tool. And let's not forget Senne Lammens, who was magnificent. 3 moments to find his debut, a reflex save from long range, a clean catch in traffic from a cross, and a De Gea-style one-on-one block that showed his class. The Belgians' calm and technique gave United a level of stability they hadn't had in years. Statistically, United's progress is real. Their expected goals are rising sharply. They've only lost possession 11 times in their own half all season, a massive improvement from last year. The team is using long throws and direct balls smartly again, one of which even led to Robert Sanchez's red card. They look more compact, better connected, and their individual stars are beginning to shine within the system. Mbeumo and Šeško are forming a deadly partnership. Mount and Diallo have become the tactical glue that keeps the team close and fluid. And with just a few key adjustments, Amorim's Manchester United created more real danger in one match than in the entire season before it. For some, this United was a lost cause. For others, it's a project finally taking shape, one so promising that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has publicly backed Amorim, giving him 3 years to prove his vision. It's a risky bet, yes, but as this match proved, when you look closely at the fine details, it's also a thrilling one. The Red Devils are back, and they might be scarier than anyone realises.